All right, all right, all right. We are live. We are live. Keith, how you doing, my man? Introduce our guest. Say what up.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? Best day of my life today. We've got Paul from the Crypto Factor with us. How we doing, Paul?
Let's give Paul a
I'm
big
doing
welcome.
great. I'm doing great, guys. Thank you so much. Super
Of course.
excited to be here. Super excited to talk to your audience, to you, and yeah, let's get talking about different things.
Yes, absolutely, man. We
Yes,
are
sir.
all crazy about the things that we're going to talk about. So this chat will get really good really quick because, yeah, we're very passionate about these things and we think that you should be too. And we hope that you come into the conversation with an open mind. If you click this video, some of you probably love crypto and Bitcoin. Some of you absolutely despise it and you hate it, but you're trying to kind of getting crypto curious. Come with a very open mind. Let all of us say what we will, and then let your opinion go from there. We got some amazing people. Wow, we have a ton of. Am I tripping, or is there this many people in here? Right quick, we got.
They all come for the crypto factor, of course, of
That's
course.
it. That's it. We got Chad in here. Is this? Oh, okay. Okay, from there. Okay, cheers. All right, we got Thomas here live. What's up? What's up? We got a Kin here. Good day. We got Rob. What's going on? Good to have you. All right, cool, cool, cool. Well, Keith, I'll let you take over.
Yeah, first things first, Paul. Talk to us a little bit about when you got into Bitcoin and how did you find the whole crypto space?
Oh wow. Okay, so I heard about Bitcoin. I think it was 2015. I was talking about it, telling people to buy it. I actually bought in 2017 because I didn't know how. I know that sounds crazy. But it was 2017. I just got over cancer for the first time because I had cancer 3 times. And I started working as a mentor or coach at a telecommunication company, which is what I used to do. And the boss's brother-in-law knew about Bitcoin and crypto. So and we got talking about, I'm like, hey, show me how to get it, show me how to buy it. And that's when I first got into crypto. I got obsessed with it. I was looking at the price going up and down. And when my contract finished, I decided to work in the industry. So I cold called my way into becoming a CMO of Experty. That was back in 2017 in Poland. And yeah, then I proceeded to write books, do my public speaking, and work for other companies as well as an advisor and so on.
Amazing. Well, that's so much to go from. So first of all, I'm so happy to hear that you're doing better and you're healthy and everything. To get through all that is not an easy thing to do. So
Oh, I
kudos
fought
to
it
you.
3 times. I'm used to it by now.
Let's
It's
go.
it's kind of
You're
becoming a thing.
unbeatable. Let's go. I love that, man. I love that. But I would still say, even back then, where you said it's crazy that you didn't know about how to buy Bitcoin in 2017, I think you said that's still like absurdly early.
It's early. I feel I'm late, but so does
Everyone
everyone.
feels like
Yes,
that.
okay.
In crypto, we all feel like we're all late, but we're still so early. Everyone here.
Yeah. No, but then back then I noticed that it's a new trend. I noticed it's a new niche, and I thought to myself, look, I'm a CMO. I can make at least 5x. There's no competition. The marketing is shit. It's still shit, to be honest.
It's so bad.
But,
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
that's how I entered the space as a CMO, and
Mm.
because of my background in sales, marketing, and consumer psychology for over 25 years. So that's how I got in.
It's amazing, man.
And then how do you think that the telecom background really contributed to your either understanding or conviction or
Well, in
that
telecom,
around crypto? Yeah.
Well, telecom. Let me explain that. I was teaching people how to sell. That was my thing: sales, marketing,
Okay.
sales, and acquisition. So I was teaching people how to basically pitch on the phone and sell products. So it wasn't exactly something that would contribute to Bitcoin or crypto per se, but the growth mindset and the success mindset of all this kind of let me be open to new sectors and understand how getting in, I'll be a bigger fish in a smaller pond, so to speak, and I can use that in my advantage. So I think that's mostly how that, and understanding business models and stuff like that, and understanding trends. I mean, I used to teach TA before that as well in the forex industry, and I used to invest in the stock market. So that kind of contributed a little bit more, but yeah.
Makes total sense to me. And I think that for all of us, I think one common thing is that usually the people who truly get the tech from a foundational layer, like they were building it, they're so far removed from the other skills that are needed to get to a point of adoption. And so I think like as people like you, me, Keith started to learn about it, we're like, wow, there are massive gaps here. This is inevitably going to happen, but they need people like us to come in and actually push that message forward. Because unfortunately, I remember watching videos around the time you're referring to, like 2017 to even like 2020. The content that was out there was like pretty tough to watch and like very, very technical. and they kind of missed the mark on telling the stories and the sales part of all that. So how did you spot that there was such a gap, and then how did you go about filling it in your CMO role and then moving forward?
Well, there's a gap now as well. It's just
I
it's
agree.
just better quality crap. I'm sorry, but most things I hear out there, half the people don't know about TA. They're talking about TA. The other half don't know how to market themselves. They get some big channels that are pretty good, but those are usually news driven or day traders, so it doesn't really help the average investor or trader at all. So I still think there are gaps today.
I
I'll
agree.
give you a very good gap right now that I'm doing on my channel, which most people won't follow because you won't get any views. Why you won't get any views? Because you can't make a lot of videos on it. Swing trading. I'm a swing trader. I'm not a day trader. I don't day trade charts. Okay. The thing is, if you're a swing trader, you're making videos every day. Is the same video. Yep, we're still in the range. Yeah, we're in the range. We're still in the range. No breakout, and that's it. Like, how much content are you going to make around this? So most people do day trading videos. They're bullish one day, bearish the next day, bullish on breakfast, bearish at dinner time, and everyone's like, "Oh my God, we're going to sell. Oh, we're going to buy. Oh, we're going to sell," and everyone gets wrecked.
It's a roller coaster. Yeah, and there's so much of that in crypto, which I think keeps Main Street and retail away in a lot of ways, because people got burned by that kind of behavior. You've mentioned TA a few times. I think there's probably a bunch of people here that don't know what that means. Can you explain what that stands for and then how you go about doing TA?
Sure, technical analysis. It's got to do with charts. Basically, you have Eastern and Western technical analysis. The Eastern technical analysis is the candlestick structure, which I use, and I think it's a huge advantage if you know how to use it, because most information, even on Google, are from wrong sources. It's actually quite insane. And then the Western technical analysis is your different patterns and structures, like the heads and shoulders you sometimes see. And those are all just probabilities of price moving to one direction. There's support, there's resistance. And it's just that. Basically, it measures psychology in the markets and it gives you probabilities. That's what technical analysis is. And along with risk and a couple of other factors, you get to make better moves, better entries, and better exits, so to speak.
What do you say to people who think that TA is BS? Because I've heard people say, who don't like it, they call it like the horoscopes for men.
Of course. Just because they don't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't work.
Okay.
And most people do it wrong. I don't blame them. Most people on YouTube, give wrong technical analysis. It's just like that.
What are the biggest mistakes that you see? Go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
I want to come back to this conversation, but I also want to address one of the questions that we have in the chat.
Sure.
Because I think that if we go down that line of what Akin just asked, I think that's actually what this whole episode could end up being about.
Sure.
Is so Akin said, how do you respond to people who say crypto is just about money laundering and selling drugs? How do you respond to something like that, Paul?
I mean, do we have to make a whole episode about this? Okay, the best way to sell drugs and launder money is through cash. It's non-traceable. It's a lot easier. There's been more cash being used for drugs and racketeering and stuff like that than Bitcoin ever will be. It's not used for that. And how can you say that in today's age? How can you say that when you have ETFs, when you have when it's all? I mean, okay, sure, it is. Yeah, fine, great. It's all it's all for drugs and don't buy it. It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say?
in the questioning that I was saying around like how to frame this whole episode is because like there's a ton of different questions like this, and Akin, you also brought that up, right? So hey, he said, or more to the point, what are all of the main objections and how do you respond to them? And I think these are really good questions. That one is a really obvious one. It's all about money laundering and selling drugs. In fact, what I would love to do is pull up a clip from Larry Fink, who actually just responded to this earlier yesterday. I believe he said he corrected or at least let himself be wrong about this. And so I'm going to quickly play that clip real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Just a second. Cool. So here we go.
BlackRock
and thieves.
and thieves.
Yes.
Money laundering and thieves.
Right.
You now have the biggest Bitcoin ETF. So what happened here?
I have very strong views, but that doesn't mean I'm not wrong. By having strong views, you have to test yourself and ask yourself. And in my role, I see thousands of clients a year. I have governmental leaders, and we have these conversations. And my thought process always evolves. And this is a very glaring public example of a big shift in my opinion.
So Paul, what do you think of that clip right there? What are your first thoughts?
All right, here's okay. So my first question to anybody asking if this is used for money laundering, let me ask you this. Okay, explain to me how exactly. I have $1 million in $1 million, and I want to money launder it. I want to launder that money. Please tell me, school me how you're going to do that with crypto. Please tell me, because if you have a conviction that's how you do it, you must know exactly how. Please tell me, enlighten me. So the best way to launder money. And not money laundering advice out there, is opening up a business, and specifically open up a hair salon or a barber shop, even better. Why? Because you can get as many clients and write as many clients on your books as you want, and no one will ever be able to deny it. So the best way, just open a small shop, low cost. All you need is to be a barber or have a barber, have a couple of scissors and stuff like that. There's really no inventory, and you just charge as many haircuts you want a day. You want 100 today, you do 100. You do 50 today, you do 50, and that's it. And that's how you launder money. Now, tell me why Bitcoin's a better way to launder money than that. And tell me how you would go around doing it.
It's definitely not. I think that's just the narrative that people could grasp from a concept point of view, because it sounded like, okay, internet money sounds sketchy inherently. And so there was also the connection to organized crime, and people said that it was for that. And so I think most people are just very, very ignorant to the subject in general. And I think that's a perfect antidote to that.
I used to own a nightclub.
Okay,
nobody
tell me about
ever
it.
came to me in a nightclub to racketeer me and say, hey, can you pay me in Bitcoin? and they, first of all, they get caught.
Right.
Second of all, it's a bit inconvenient.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest argument for that one is like, I mean, do we really want an immutable record of all of the transactions that we're making if we want to do something nefarious or illegal? I think that's probably not the best place to do it.
Completely. But I think so many people have been so far removed from this space because there's so many things going on at one point that are so contrarian to how we look at economics in general. Right? Like if you look at, there's so many factors here at play that is messing with the human psyche and their approach to it. The price movements, the fluctuations, the up and the down, the whole interfacing without a central third party that's been beaten into our heads that you need to do that to conduct any sort of trade. Like all of these different things are fighting against humans' natural understandings. And people have paid trillions of dollars to make us think certain ways. And these are kind of conflicting to a lot of that very deeply rooted programming. So I understand why people say these things. But Paul, yeah, I think that's pretty difficult.
But what? Like if you say a statement like it's used for money laundering, explain to me how. Let me just open up the air conditioner here because this is pissing me off.
We're getting them heated.
I can understand if you said NFTs can be used to money launder. Yes.
Yeah, that I can agree with.
I totally understand.
Yes.
And it's the same way that art is being used to money launder.
Totally. Yes.
Like I can get into specifics if you guys want, but I don't know if it's good for the channel. No, but what I'm saying is there's a lot of misconceptions out there, even with people in crypto. People in cryptocurrency, like the ones who said, "Oh, technical analysis doesn't work." No, it's because they don't understand it. What they don't understand, they cannot accept. It's like some things. Sometimes things sound so logical, like the best time to buy is in the bear market. Oh, it's not. It's the worst time to buy is in the bear market. Now people are probably
why?
Explain to me why. Yeah, okay, I'll tell you why. Well, bear markets can be long and gruesome, right? They can last 6 months to a year or more, and a lot can go wrong in that bear market. Companies can fold, they can get scammed, they can I don't know, CEOs might, I don't know, one CEO might fuck another CEO's wife and they can split up and the company goes down. Narratives change, utility might become obsolete. Not only that, you don't know what's going to trend, you don't know what's going to break out, you don't know what the next trend's going to be. So what do you do? So when's the best time to buy? It's as you're coming out of the bear market. You see which coins are still around, which ones have worked, which ones are breaking out, which ones are in trend, what the narrative is. It's still low enough. You just have to see which one's breaking out, which one's beating Bitcoin, which one's not. So why is the best time to buy in the bear market? That's absurd. It's something that everybody says, but no one sits to think. And you might think it's a small thing. No, it's not a small thing. Other than Bitcoin, I can argue that Bitcoin it's okay to buy in the bear market. But cryptocurrencies in general, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're losing opportunity cost because you're holding up your money in something and you can't get it out in time, right? Or you're in the wrong coin. Look at what happened to the XRP army. I was warning them all the last bull market. I was saying, look, you're gonna lose a whole bull market. It's not gonna. And they were attacking me, of course. What happened? They missed an entire bull market in most of this one, and they started shouting at me. Then they started, and this is where the TA comes in. They started shouting at me. Well, look at it now. It went up 5x. I'm like, dude, I was saying in the last bull market and all of this bull market, buy when it breaks 72 cents. It's very simple. Buy when it breaks 72 cents. Get out if it goes lower, and then it should work. It should have a move to $2-3. It was the perfect call, and they still don't understand or get it.
So, but I can hear people saying out loud, isn't that attempting to time the market, which is an impossible feat?
I'm sorry?
For the people who would oppose your opinion, which I agree from a logical point of view, I can get behind that. But that's assuming that you have the ability to time the market. Are you saying that doing TA gives you that kind of?
It gets you close.
Okay.
So I'll give you an example. In this bull market, I managed to call the lows of 15.6K. And I called it exactly months before, publicly winning a bet against Gareth Soloway. All right. Now the bet was, and you can see the videos. This is all on YouTube, right? Now you can see the videos, and you can see I was saying it's $15,000 to $17,000 range. He was saying about 10 to 12,000. Now 15.6K, to be quite honest, was pure luck. All right, but I went with it because it was fun. So 15.6K was pure luck, but the range of 15,000, 17,000, that was the range I was looking that all amateurs plus pros will get wrecked. That was the sweet spot, so to speak, and that's what I try to find in every bull market. And we called that the double top in the previous bull market. We called that with a temporary bottom at 30. It went to 29. Okay, I missed out for 1,000. And it doesn't mean I'm going to get it all the time. It doesn't mean I got all my calls right. Far from the truth. I got a lot wrong. But the probabilities bring you closer. So for those of you who let's say TA doesn't work, believe me, there's a reason why top traders do this and they make money. There's a reason why some of the best, most profitable people in the world use TA. The problem is you either learn it wrong or you don't believe it, which is fine. It's like saying martial arts doesn't work. I hear a new concept thing, a new thing going out now. Oh, karate doesn't work. And everyone wants to be a Muay Thai fighter, a kickboxer, or boxer. And karate doesn't work. Yes, it fucking works. Go against a black belt, fight him, and let's see if it works or not. He'll kick your ass.
Yeah,
depends on kick your ass from here, I don't know where.
Yeah, it depends on benchmarks.
And then it depends how good you are on each art, right? Like they say kung fu doesn't work. Okay, go to a kung fu master and have a fight with him, please. Be my guest. Unless you're also a fighter, you're not going to be able to fight. So yes, maybe certain martial arts are better for certain conditions or certain places, and I've done a few myself in my life. But it doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just that you don't know how to use it. It's two different things.
With that said, Paul, I mean, do you think that the work that you do, or mastering technical analysis and also using technical analysis, because that's two different skills too, do you think that that's something that everyone can do in the spirit of thinking about, once again, people who still haven't even started buying Bitcoin? Do you think that that's really a good path for people to go down most of the time?
It's an amazing question. We have to go deep here. We have to analyze it a little bit. Can anybody become an entrepreneur? Yes, but will they? Right? It's very hard. It takes a certain skill set. It takes a certain mindset. Unless you are ready to learn the mindset first, then the skill set, it's extremely hard to become an entrepreneur. And even if you do, you're probably going to fail anyway. The chances are against you. Let's be honest here. So it goes back to the saying, oh, everyone should drop out of college because college is a scam. Not for the people that can't be entrepreneurs. It's the best thing they can possibly do. And then here's another example. There's not just entrepreneurs, there's intrapreneurs. So entrepreneurs are entrepreneurs that do their own businesses, that make their own business and so on. Intrapreneurs are people that work for companies with an entrepreneurial mindset. Those are intrapreneurs. And sometimes somebody might be a better suited as an intrapreneur than an entrepreneur. They can both become millionaires.
Totally. Yes.
Right? Well, swing traders, day traders. Right? It's you have to, yes, not everyone can do it. I personally believe that everybody can. If they put their heads down, if they work consistently, put the hours in, if they put 10,000 hours in, they can do it. The question is, can they put the 10,000 hours in? Because that's the hardest part. That's the hardest mindset. That's the hardest thing to accomplish. Actually doing it, actually studying it.
Yes. I agree with everything you just said there, and I think that's one of the most important things to double down on is that it's all possible, but your likelihood of success comes down to knowing yourself, right? Like, where are you more likely to win now, right? And so I think sometimes people try to jump to the end of the line, and they should take more of the approach that you just said of being an entrepreneur and learning those skill sets and then maybe applying it to
Exactly.
themselves later.
I'm a
But
shit day trader. I'm a shit day trader. I suck at day trading. I get too emotional. I know you're not supposed to be emotional when trading. Everyone says it, but I'm emotional. I'm Greek. The Greek comes out. Look, I'm emotional on this live stream, right?
we are the same.
So
Yes.
I'm not a good day trader. I suck at day trading. I don't day trade, or I do trade, but I see it as gambling.
Yes.
But I don't day trade. I'm a swing trader. I'm much better swing trade. When I swing trade, massive amounts of profits, no problem. When
Makes
I day
sense.
trade, I get my ass. I make a few trades. I make money. I'm like, okay, I can day trade now. All of a sudden, I became a day trader. And then suddenly I get emotional because I lost a trade and I double down. I do a 50x because I'm stupid and I lose all my money because I'm a fucking gambler. I'm
Yeah.
Greek. The Greek jumps out.
Yeah, I agree. I think Keith's the only guy in this conversation that could do day trading. I think you and I are not well suited for that at all. But I wanted to bring this back home to the audience here. So Thomas chimed in and said, I personally just hold for the long term. I'm either right or wrong on my investment thesis, less chances to make a bad trade. And so Thomas,
Long.
I'm a lot like you as well. And so explain to me why we're wrong.
The longer you're in a volatile market like cryptocurrency, it's actually against you. Yes, we had a few outliers that went up and made massive profits, like Solana, like this, like that. But the longer you stay into something, the longer you're setting up yourself up for disaster. Unless it's Bitcoin only, and you have money to be able to live your life. Most of us don't. We need to make money from this. A bear market, you're going to need money. You're going to need to go to the hospital. You're going to need to buy your girlfriend something. I don't know what. My girlfriend's got handbag problem. You're going to have to spend that money. You're going to have to sell lower, and then you're not going to be able to sustain it. The market can be insolvent. The market can be irrational more than you can be solvent, longer than you can be solvent.
And I think there's something really important about what you're saying here, because I mean, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. And one of the things that like crypto investors typically don't necessarily recognize about ourselves is that most of the time, a lot of us are picking one specific thing. And so, for instance, even in the stock market, when you buy a particular stock, the longer that you're exposed to that stock, the more likely that that company is actually to fall out of favor at some point, right? That's the truth of how actual markets really work.
Mm-hmm.
So you're actually making a really interesting point that if you're not indexing, right, then you're technically actually more time that you're exposed to something, the more risk you're actually potentially taking on, and that thing not only just not performing, but potentially even going to zero. Now, I wanted to add to this because I wanted to say that one of the things that I think, like the XRP army, as an example, right, what they're going to say to something like this is what I think a lot of people are so afraid of is there being a moment, right, where not having exposure means that you've now missed out on this thing that just like exploded, right?
Look, Zcash.
Zcash is an example of most recently. And some people, right, in the XRP army, like they're expecting something, right, that's going to be like
Yes,
1,000 times that.
But why would you hold Zcash? So we got in at $144. I made the call on Zcash. It was a perfect setup. The risk was low. It was the perfect. It was a no-brainer. Zcash was a no-brainer. I mean, the 144 to the $700, it was no-brainer. So, and the XRP army, it was a no-brainer that above 72 cents, that was the main resistance. You kept on seeing resistance. Why put opportunity cost? Why not hold something else like Bitcoin or something else that's moving and just be married to your coin? Now, that said, I do have my long-term portfolio I don't touch because sometimes you're wrong and sometimes, yes, time in the market is a little bit better, especially if most of it's in Bitcoin. And I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, by the way. I'm a shitcoin minimalist. Very big difference.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
So it's okay to hold a portfolio long term, but you have to take it as, look, some of this is going to do well. Most of it's going to do shit. Hopefully what's going to go well is going to do better than what's going to go to shit. And yes, over time it might go up, but I have to be ready to lose everything.
Makes
right?
sense to me.
I'm actually jealous of day traders like Keith. I really am. They're always in cash. They don't give a shit. They take advantage of everything. They have content for videos. They're amazing. Like I'm actually really.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, I definitely don't cover that stuff on my channel, but
you should.
Yeah,
but then
I
you
don't
got
touch
the other
crypto
problem.
either.
You got the other problem. You can't day trade and do videos at the same time effectively. It's really, really hard. And
Yeah,
it
it pulls you. Yeah, 110%. But I want to tie this down to people who are watching this later, because I think everyone in here is fairly crypto focused, right? But there's going to be people that find this weeks, months, years after. Why should someone buy Bitcoin on a philosophical level, like the under the surface stuff for why buy Bitcoin, period? Because I think most of the world is like still on the other side of that question and equation.
Philosophical or technical?
Both, I would say. But let's start with the philosophy, because I think that's what will make people listen to the technical.
All right. Philosophy, let me go a little bit extreme then.
Go for
Philosophy. So technically, look, Bitcoin is basically the only cryptocurrency that's hard, sound money, or should I say it has hard, sound money principles, right? And for that, I'm telling you right now, start reading books and go read Seyfettin Ammous. He wrote a great book called The Bitcoin Standard. I think everybody should just buy that book and read it. And yeah, reading is a very big difference if you want to become successful in life or not. It's not just what you read. Your brain learns to learn. It's very important to read. All right, so that's number one. That's the technical, okay? Sound hard money principles. The only cryptocurrency that has that. Philosophical, let's get biblical. Well, let's go biblical. Either Bitcoin is the start or the entry to the mark of the beast, or it's the only thing that's going to counter it. So in a world where we get CBDCs, Bitcoin may become your barter, and it might be the only thing that will let you live off grid, especially online, with any possibility. And yes, there might be, maybe this becomes, you need privacy, it doesn't matter. We're talking generalities here. No one's gonna go, if somebody has the mark and somebody else doesn't have the mark, and he wants bread and he wants fish, I'm pretty sure they will swap, or they will use Bitcoin peer-to-peer and they won't give a shit, right? So it's the only thing that might fight the mark of the beast on the religious aspect. So that's, and I'll put that in the same category as philosophical. If you want investing, it's the greatest hedge you can have because of its principles, right? And generally speaking, if you want its utility when it comes to investing, and I want to address this because I think this is where most people have problems with Bitcoin, even though they've been proven wrong time and time over again. It's a lot of times I hear people say this: why should I buy Bitcoin where it can 2-3x, depending on where Bitcoin is, when I can buy an altcoin that can 20x? And I'm not going to say, well, this 2x is 100% and this 20x might not happen. No, I'm not going to say that. Here's what I'm going to say to you, though. If you have an altcoin here and you have Bitcoin here, and you take, let's say, profits into Bitcoin, okay? So you have some profits, you made some money here, and you put it in Bitcoin. If the market continues going up, even if the altcoins outperform Bitcoin, you still have your Bitcoin. This is your safety net. But if the markets go down, Bitcoin usually falls less, and you can actually use the same Bitcoin to buy the dip. So you can actually use Bitcoin. This is why you get rich holding altcoins, but you get wealthy holding Bitcoin. That's the difference. That's the store of value aspect that people don't understand. What's the store of value? Why is it a store of value? It's failed at this. It's failed. No, it's not. It works as a store of value perfectly if you put it in your mind that you can put profits into Bitcoin. If it goes up, great, you're still exposed to crypto. If it goes down, you can use it to buy the dips. Not only that, if it goes up and you still want to buy, you can use it to buy lagging plays. Right? So Bitcoin is your store of value instead of USDT, for example.
So that sounds pretty maximalist to me, Paul. We're gonna have to hear from you how it's not.
I'm the crypto factor, I'm not the Bitcoin factor. I mean, I have a crypto factor book. It talks about all cryptocurrencies. I work for cryptocurrency companies. It's just that one I see as a sound hard money, the rest I see as investments. If you it's the equivalent of gold and stocks, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Right? It's not maximalism. It's not maximalism. And then you have your penny stocks, which is your low caps, your meme coins, and all that.
Yeah.
Right? Very simple. It's not maximalism.
It's
realism.
I actually agree with that wholeheartedly, and it is that simple. I think personally, right? Like when you break it down, we act like it's so different, but I feel like it is just like that.
So what is maximalism then, though?
That's just being in Bitcoin, though. Bitcoin and everything else will go to zero against Bitcoin. You're only in Bitcoin. That's maximalism. Tone Vase is a maximalist.
I was thinking about this last night, actually, Keith, when I was preparing for this episode, because I was watching some of Paul's videos, and I was thinking about this, and I kind of felt like he'd have these viewpoints, and he's definitely not disappointed. You're awesome, so I appreciate you coming on here and sharing the energy. But I was thinking about that logically, about like, how does a maximalism get created? I think a lot of it has to do with the time in which they realized what we realized later, when the tech was at a different place. Right. And so think of the story that had to be spread for them to care in the first place, Keith, right? It had to be saving the world.
Yes.
And if this is the solution to saving the world, nothing else can be saving the world second. It's like, that's like asking someone who's a follower of Jesus to then follow another prophet or whatever, right? Like, I'm not a big religious guy, but I'm like, you couldn't do that. It's impossible to do, right? And so I think that's really what it is. And those people are going to have crazy convictions because, much like you said, why does the guy drive a Bentley a few weeks ago, right? Why is the guy a Bitcoin maximalist? Because it's also a flex that he saw this earlier.
Or he became a Bitcoin maximalist because he lost all his money in shitcoins.
That too. Yes. Both things contributing, I think, for sure.
Yeah. One of the core things that I've said about how Bitcoin maximalists come about is like, for a lot of the people that were there early enough, I mean, they also profited so massively, right, from being there so early, that from that point on, I mean, your blinders are on for sure.
Yeah,
like,
but they
you
have a
did the
point, though. They have a point. Let me tell you the
Mhm.
point they have and the point they don't have. The problem is they're trying to compare everything to Bitcoin, and cryptocurrencies are trying to compare themselves against Bitcoin as well. They should not. It's two different things. There's Bitcoin, there's cryptocurrencies. Not that cryptocurrencies are bad. You can make massive amounts of profits with cryptocurrencies, and there are use cases that could happen and could come with utility and so on when it comes to cryptocurrencies. But, and maybe it's the word cryptocurrency that's the source of the confusion, because cryptocurrency, and now there's cryptocurrencies, but they're not really currencies. Whilst Bitcoin is a currency.
It's a language problem.
Right? So maybe there's a language barrier there as well.
There's
But
some great.
it's,
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Continue your point.
no, please go ahead.
We've got some great questions in the chat that I definitely want to get
Please.
to because they have some questions for you. So one
I got a
here.
question for Keith, though.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What the hell do you do for your shoulders, dude? You're massive.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go.
I appreciate it, man.
Seriously, I see the chest and everything up there is like all big
Keith's
and shit.
teased,
Like,
man. Keith's teased.
I gotta start wearing sweaters, man. I gotta start wearing sweaters. Actually,
Yeah.
I was wearing a sweater the other day, and someone still said something to me. I was like, God, dang it.
No, dude, that's good though. It's
You
good.
poor thing, Keith. You poor thing. I feel so bad for you, buddy. So
I'm
here,
be blessed for fuck's sake.
here, Thomas says, "I'd like to hear what the guest has to say about Satoshi and his holdings."
What exactly would you like me to say about Satoshi and his holdings?
I'm assuming, does that give you any sort of concern or worry?
Why? Why do I care?
Who is Satoshi?
Who cares? Who gives a shit?
You don't think it matters? You don't think it matters at all?
Why?
What if there's a motivation to move the coins or sell them or whatever? Would that matter?
Again, by then either it will be eaten up or not, and if anything, it'll become more decentralized.
So
it just might take longer for the price to go up. If you're thinking about price, yeah, sure, okay. Otherwise, it's just a timing problem or a timing issue. As for who Satoshi is, who cares? Seriously, what will change in your life if you knew who Satoshi is? Seriously.
What if it's the CIA and this is all a big old Ponzi scheme to get all of our money into this system?
CIA running a Ponzi scheme to get our money. They don't need to. They should just do a CBDC and get rid of it all that way. They don't need to do it through Bitcoin. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here with all this stuff. And,
so
go ahead.
And so what if the Bitcoin thing is to get people more familiar or okay with CBDCs? Like, for instance,
there's also that's what was said before, the philosophical aspect of things. But there's a Greek saying. I'm not sure if I should say it online, but I'll say it anyway. If my grandmother had balls, she would be my grandfather.
What do you
like? If that, who gives a fuck?
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Like, seriously, like if that's what made people not buy and made people stay poor and not taking the ride that we rode.
Yes,
when
there's a lot of that.
I'll give you the answer. We'll cross the bridge when we come to it.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. That's fair. What do you say to critics that believe Bitcoin has no inherent value unless we presume it has value? In other words, where does the value come from? Period.
I'd ask them what value they have. I would ask them to explain value to me and explain like how much money they have. And if they're multimillionaires, I'll be like, okay, do what you're doing. You know what you're doing. If they're poor, I would say maybe you should look into it. It's, you know, at some point you're talking to people and you're basically whatchamacallit, you're basically trying to fight people all the time. And the worst way to get the sale, to get the girl, anything like that, is to chase and insist too much. At some point, you need to do a takeaway, right? When it comes to sales, it's the same thing with Bitcoin. Sure, no problem. It's all for you. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Don't worry about reading it. Sooner or later, hear about it again. They'll say, and they'll start thinking about it and get into it. If not, no, they were meant to be poor. Look, 95% of the people are meant to be poor. I'm sorry, 95% of the people are not meant to make anything in their life. No matter what you say, no matter what you do. And I'm not being bad here. I have friends and I have relatives that I've tried to help, and they just can't get over the poor man's mindset. They just can't.
But think about how much money has been trained to make that many people think like that, right? Because you can't have the power structures that currently exist if, say, even 20% of the populace thinks like how we do. It wouldn't function the same. It's not possible, right? And so I think that's one of the things where free will is a gift that we all have or a curse that we all have, and what you do with that is completely up to you. Question here, I want us to be careful about how we answer this, but real question, what does it matter if Epstein is linked to Bitcoin?
He's also linked to cash.
Okay.
Just because you used, so let's say there was no Bitcoin and there was the American dollar, and let's say would the American dollar fall because of Epstein?
Certainly not.
So what is it gonna? What he's Satoshi Nakamoto? Sure, if he's Satoshi Nakamoto, maybe it's an issue. But you know what I've learned? There's two things that drive markets, and eventually it corrects to either direction. It's fear and greed. It doesn't fucking matter who he is. At some point, even if that was the case, it sooner or later will go up or go down, and and it's all about fear and greed. Some people will want to make money, and they will do anything they can for the price to keep on going up if that's what they wanted.
Keith looks like you got something.
And look, I get it. It's very hard to be 100% convicted. Let's make it 100% conviction here. And there are gray areas. I mean, there's three sides to a coin, right? There's the heads, there's the tails, and there's the edge. And you need to stand on the edge and look at all three sides, including the side you're on. But sometimes you just can't look at the edge. And there's certain things we just can't look at. I'm a stoic. I only worry about what I can control and what I can change. I'm not going to worry if it's tied to him or not tied to him or tied to my mother or I don't know who. It really doesn't matter at this point.
What do you think are, if any, what is the reason why the average person is still not in Bitcoin or crypto? What do you think is the reason?
For the same reason he's not. For the same reason the average American, because I'm talking about America, I'm assuming you're in America, both of you. Sure. Same reason that the average American, they living paycheck to paycheck, and 65% don't have more than what was it, $10,000 in the bank.
I'm American and Ben's Canadian, just so you know.
Okay, well,
but yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing, right, all around.
But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Most people, even around the world, most people they don't know how to invest. They don't know how to make money. They don't know about mindset. They just don't, and it's not always their fault.
It's definitely not. They're just trying to survive, right? Like
exactly.
they don't even have the time to think about Bitcoin when they're worried about where their next meal's coming from, or like being able to support their children, right? Or like that those are very fair reasons. So for those people who are very pressed for time, do you have resources that you recommend to get them from 0 to 1 in the whole Bitcoin question?
Yes, get the Bitcoin Standard by Saifedean Ammous.
I just ordered that book. I haven't read it yet, so I just on the stream. I just ordered it.
Coming from someone that wrote 7 books, I'm saying buy his book, because that's the book you need to buy and read.
That says a lot for sure.
So definitely, man.
Go pick that up. It was $32 in Canada, so that's like $10 American. I'm mostly trolling, but like, yeah, so it's not that big of a deal. I even splurged for the hard copy. So go pick that up. I think when these things are so foundational in terms of what they mean for everyday life, with things that we can't avoid, the cost of ignorance is so high. It's so high. And I try to express this, and everyone's always like, calm down, Ben. And I'm like, if you knew what
Wow.
I knew, you'd be freaking out too. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, bro, I will not calm down because I care about you.
No, that's actually a really, really interesting thought. As we've had the information age and ubiquitous information access to everyone, right? So anyone who does take the time to take in and analyze that information, right, they're getting way, 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 way ahead of people who aren't. In the way that, yeah, like you said, if you're not participating in just the acquisition of knowledge, you're exponentially getting left behind in
Yeah.
whatever endeavor, right?
I saw, yeah, I'm sure you've seen this too, Keith, and I'm sure Paul's the same thing. When people go down these different paths, and we went down this internet education, self-exploration phase, we were like indistinct, like we can't even remember who we were like a few years ago. But when you see the people that you used to hang out with, they're the exact same. It's like I actually like I have some friends where I go hang out with them and I can teleport back in time. Right? When you think about that, that only exacerbates from people doing this. And if you stay behind, like you're gonna get farther and farther behind.
Let me say a story. Let me tell you a story. I think this is going to help a lot of viewers. I want to tell you a story. So I had a mentor. His name was Mr. Mario. He's the toughest mentor you can possibly imagine. He's the one that mentored me in sales. He's the one that got me to timeshare when I was young. He's the one that got me the best trainers in the world. He's a multi-millionaire. He's one of the big boys. He's a big player now, and we're still friends to this day. And he mentored me. I remember years ago. He told me that I need to have a growth mindset, to think differently. And he told me to go buy a book. It was called The Magic of Thinking Big. Now, he had the book on his bookshelf. So I'm like, okay, can I borrow the book? He's like, no, you go buy it. Now, at that time, I didn't have no money. I went bankrupt. So I had no money. It was very hard for me to get to even to buy a book. I think it was like a 35 euro book back then. I can't remember. And I told him, why? You have the book. I can't really buy it. He's like, and he kept on calling me. He's like, did you buy the book? Did you buy? I'm like, no, I really don't have money. He's like, listen, he's like, he used to swear. I'm gonna try not to swear like he does, but he used to swear a lot. He still does. And he's like, listen, well, actually I will. He's like, go buy that fucking book. Like, I'm like, but Mario, I don't have the money right now. It's very high. He's like, I don't care. Don't go for a coffee. Don't do this. Don't do that. Go buy that book. If you can't buy that book, borrow the book. And if you can't borrow the book, go steal the book. I'm like, can I borrow the book? He's like, no. Anyway, he made me go buy the book.
Man, that's actually so important. I want to double down because that story I think actually was really, really powerful.
I read it and it changed my life.
Yes,
and ever since then, I stopped thinking small, started to think big. I don't think how to save money anymore when I need money. I think how to make more. It changed my life, the magic of thinking big.
And when people get into the victim mind virus or whatever you want to say, I don't care what words you choose, it sucks you in and sucks you down. And so many people are in this and they don't even all realize that they're like crabs in a bucket. They're pulling each other down all the time. And I've had this where I've had one person in particular where I've tried to help him in his life like so many times. I've done the work for him. And every time, because I did it for him, he didn't value it. He didn't learn anything. He got further into his victimhood, right? And then I actually snapped on him pretty recently where I was like, brother, you don't listen to anything I freaking say. What's the point? Like you say I didn't do enough for you. I freaking did the whole thing for you before and you still weren't appreciative. You were an asshole, right? So it's like people get so deeply rooted into this victim bullshit. And now you don't even need to buy a book. You can go get this on YouTube, man. Like the book thing I think is fantastic because it's a statement.
Book. You need to learn to learn.
I agree. But you can still source most of this information completely for free on YouTube.
Don't spend the money.
The book, I agree.
You're getting a problem with your friend. You're giving the same. You have to spend the money.
But you're not. Paul, here's my point. The modern day version of money, if you're really poor, because these people aren't going to spend the money, Paul, right? The modern day version for the person who is so victimhood deep in it, where they won't spend $1, that equivalent modern day for what the book was for you is watching something that's like multiple hours long. Right? That's the thing where if you send the video to the person who's a victim, what's the first thing they say? They say how long it is. I'll say this 4-hour podcast can literally transform your entire life. And they say, wow, that's 4 hours. And I say, you're such a dipshit. But they are so deeply rooted in that, right? So the book, I agree with you 110%. But 99% of the people we're talking to will not spend money and they will not read a book. They will not.
And there's also a really important point that you've made here about like the attention being the currency,
Yes,
Um,
yes, it all connects. Go ahead.
because that is kind of the world that we live in today, where we have access to anything, right? So it almost, like, technically it doesn't necessarily make sense to buy the book unless you want to devote to yourself, right? Whatever that payment is, you want to move that energy throughout the world when it comes to just information alone. And so, in the sense of, well, since I can do anything, I can learn anything with my time, then really it comes down to, what is it exactly that I'm going to do with that time? What is it that I'm going to learn? And then that time and the attention being the actual currency itself. So that's an actually really interesting point, Ben, around how this has technically evolved
The
over time.
problem
Let's
with
hear it, Paul.
watching video
Yeah.
and the problem with doing that is that your brain tricks you into thinking you are doing something while you're watching the video. You get the dopamine hit, and basically it's like you're doing it by watching the video, and you usually don't take action on it. There's a certain thing that when you actually read words on the paper and you laser focus and you have to reread certain parts and so on, there's a reason why words are magical. There's a reason why the word is important, the word of God. There's different reasons why words on the paper, writing affirmations and so on, are extremely important. So yes, you can watch a video for 4 hours. I'm pretty sure a lot of people do, and they get motivated and inspiration, and they do nothing.
I think you're grossly overestimating how many people will watch a
Maybe,
4-hour
but
piece of content.
it takes gross over conviction and being grossly I don't know what the word I'm looking for right here, to actually make it anyway. Otherwise,
Yes.
anybody watching YouTube would have made it by now, and we wouldn't have 95% of the people succeeding. That's 70%
So
or whatever.
yeah, well, my whole point here is that I think the consumption of media has transformed so much, and that the modern day person isn't going to do the things that we're suggesting. I agree that they 100% totally would work, but this thing that you're saying where you have to rewatch or like reread certain parts, like you can do that with videos. I do that all the time. Like if I want
But
to
you have the mindset already. We're talking about people that don't have the mindset.
precisely, right? And so you think they're going to go read a book? There's no way they're going to read a book. There needs to be.
Exactly. It takes a huge action that's not natural to your body to be able to make the switch.
Paul, you're
Yeah.
obviously a killer, man, right? You do amazing things. These people are so far removed from you, right? Like, go
I
ahead, Keith.
guess the
I want to
point,
hear
though,
Keith.
that, like,
Yeah, take time in.
I guess the point, though, that, Paul, that you're saying is, like, you have to actually retrain your mind. And so by doing the buying of the book and by reading the book, then you can now be in a position to where, yeah, you could watch a video and actually get what you should be getting from it, because you're the kind of person who will actually sit down and read a book. I think that's kind of where you guys
I hate.
say
I
the
hate.
same thing.
Look, let me tell you another secret. My mentor, he made me read the books. I hate reading books, and I used to watch videos. And my life changed after I read the book, not watched it on a video.
So here's my thing. I think everyone is crippled right now mentally. If someone is crippled after a catastrophic injury, do you get them to walk first, or do you get them to sprint?
I'm trying. I have to give you the okay. It's not gonna anyway. Let's agree to disagree on this.
Okay. Keith, take it next. That was a lot of fun, Paul. That was awesome.
Let me give you an example. You're talking to a 3-time cancer survivor. The first time I beat cancer, I wrote my first book while I was fighting cancer. I was in bed. I couldn't write, so I had to record it, give it to an editor to write it. The second time I fought cancer, I barely made it. And the third time I fought cancer, I lost my memory. I had 2 bone marrow transplants. The second one was CAR T therapy. Lost my memory. I had to reinvent myself online from the beginning, while I lost my sister, my mother, and my father. So this, for me, it's more than most people go through.
Totally.
And yes, I understand baby steps, and I understand and I understand all that. But the problem is that I don't want somebody to watch this video and be like, okay, I'm just going to go watch a video. It's going to change my life. No, you have to take unimaginable action and do something different to get out of your mindset and state that you've been programmed in. And the only way to do that is to do something extreme. Watching a YouTube video and eating fucking chips and potato chips and whatever you're eating and going numb and your body getting all motivated and shit while you're not doing nothing. And after, like, wow, I just accomplished something. It's not going to do shit all for you. It's really not.
I agree with
that's
you.
why most people watching YouTube are failures, and they just continue watching YouTube.
I agree with you. No, Paul, I completely agree with you, and I appreciate you sharing all that, and I can't imagine how difficult that was to go through all of that. I totally get everything you're saying. I'm just trying to provide a roadmap for the
How
people.
many people have you helped by telling them to watch a YouTube channel or a video
More than I've helped trying to get to read a book.
With mindset that actually changed and helped them.
Definitely way more than books.
I mean, also, Paul, like, think about it like this: like, some people will watch this video and they will go and read a book.
Yes, that's
To be
that's
fair.
the point I'm making. Yes, thank you. Yes, and so here's Shayla, who's coming in as the voice of reason. I understand both points. I totally do too. Like, Paul is 110% right here. He is right. Go buy the book. Please go buy the book and read it. Listen to this guy. Everything that he went through, and he's here after all of that, saying this is the most important thing you can do. Like, you'd have to be an idiot to not listen to what he's saying.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not telling you to go watch my channel. I'm telling you to buy someone else's book. Imagine.
Yes, that's crazy, right? Because that's such an important point, Paul, right? Because he could be financially incentivized to say, like, oh, my channel is the source of truth. And he hasn't mentioned his channel once. Right. Yeah. So you should listen to what is being said. And we got some voice in the chat here. We've got Jay Heron saying, I just had a stem cell transplant last year. Let's go. Hope you're doing amazing.
Oh, awesome. Man, autologous, or how are you doing?
Yeah,
write in the chat how you're doing, and if you have any questions. I had 2 of them, so.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. I'm glad we can get some additional support here. And then make reading great again. I totally agree with that. Yes, I agree with that. Yes, 110%. But that was, I actually think that will be some of the most impactful takeaways from this conversation, because I think it's going to audit people's consumption or force them to audit their consumption.
Do what others are not willing to do.
Yes.
Most people are not willing to go read a book.
You're right. No, you're 110% right. Keith, do you have any other angle you want to go down?
I think that's all good. I kind of want to pick your brain a little bit, Paul, on like the concept of conspiracy theories. What's the biggest conspiracy theory that you believe in, or the craziest one, I guess I should say?
Oh man, is it a conspiracy theory? I don't know. So here's the thing with me. I am very, I'm wired a bit different, or at least, over time you get wired different. And I don't have any 100% convictions when it comes to conspiracy theories. Why? Because I just don't know what I don't know. So I could sit here and tell you that I believe in aliens, but okay, we have to analyze what aliens can be. I can sit here and talk to you that I believe in heaven and hell, but we have to analyze parallel universes and so on for that to make sense, because I kind of like combine science with religion as well. And 100% I might be wrong. So let me say something that's going to sound very interesting, controversial. I 100% know I'm right that I believe in God, but I'm not 100%. I know 100% that God exists, but I also know that I'm probably wrong. So I don't know. I believe in God, but I'm not sure if I'm following the right religion. Right? I just believe, and this is the religion. So I'm very open-minded in that case. And it's hard. We can talk conspiracy theories all day. I'm a Y-Files watcher. I watch the Y-Files a lot. I have all these different books on aliens and stuff like that, and Hollow Earth from back in the day. And I was very into religion. I love religion. I love God, by the way. I'm pretty sure people figure that out by now. But I'm also trying not to push shit on people so that they, it drives them away. And I try to give them different ways to get into it and research for themselves. So what's the biggest conspiracy? I don't know. I just have so many of them. And if you don't ask my opinion on one specifically, I won't be able to answer. I really can't.
That's fair. Yeah, I think the exploration thing is one of the most important things when it comes to diving into the conspiracy theory stuff. And it's also important to not get too tied into any of them, because much like Paul is saying, like, we don't really know. I think it's a great intellectual experience and experiment with yourself to go see and try to put things together, and then it really opens up your worldview quite a bit. I was even just watching Stranger Things the other day, and I was like, man, this feels like it was made to prepare us for when they tell us about aliens to not be mad at the government for hiding them from us.
Okay, I'll do this online. I'm going to say something online, and people are going to think I'm crazy, and it's the first time I'm going to talk about this. Okay, online at least.
Love it.
All right?
Let's go. Get crazy.
So I've had 2 experiences with UFOs, with aliens.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to talk about it here, and I'm going to talk about my experience, and then I'll tell you my conclusion at the end, which might surprise you. All right. So I've had a few, but I'll tell you about 2 of them. Okay. Now, the first time I was pretty young. I live close to the beach, right? And I was with my best friend, and we walked down to the beach. And back then there was nothing there. It was like Greece was a little. I'm 48 years old, by the way, so I was around my 20s, maybe less. So we walked down to the beach. There's nothing there. It was dark, whatever. We're walking to the pier. We're just, being all cool, whatever. I can't remember why we went there. And suddenly, we heard a specific noise. And this noise sounded like nothing I've ever heard before, like a big, massive whale.
They're coming to get you right now.
Coming from all directions. And it was overwhelming and scary. And it sounded like the trumpets from heaven, what my friend said. I thought it was like some sort of alien. I don't know. All I know is we fucking ran. I was a pretty big guy back then. He was bigger than me. We just ran like kids. Even though we were masked, we just ran all the way where there was people. So that was my first experience.
How do you know that was an ET experience, though?
I've never heard anything like that in this world since, except some sort of sirens in like YouTube where they do the sirens of heaven or whatever it was called. So I don't know if it's extraterrestrial, all of that or that, because again, I don't know what I don't know.
Fair. Okay.
People who tend to believe what it is tend to their beliefs. I try to be a little bit more open-minded, let's say. Fair. That's the first experience anyway. The second experience was, and I have a witness for the second one. And I was sitting on my balcony here a few years ago. And as I was looking at the sky, I saw a flame. Oh, 3 experiences, sorry. I saw a flame going up like this, like up. But then another one, and it stayed there, and another one. And I called my girlfriend, and she got the last one. It looked like missiles, but they were in the clouds, but it was kind of weird. It wasn't like anything I saw before or she saw before. And it wasn't like Starlink, or anything like that. The dots that go, you think they're orbs, because I saw that as well, and we knew it was Star. Because I tend to search where it is after. But this was a weird thing. And the third one, the biggest one that I saw, and this one I was alone. I saw an orb in the sky, and so I go fishing a lot. I fish. So, and I fish at night, or I used to fish at night, and there's nothing, right? There's just. You're just there with a little short and fishing, shore fishing, and so on. I was a bit extreme with that. Yeah, extreme fishing. So and I see this orb, like this ball of light, just sitting in the sky. It was before drones, by the way, but it was like a round orb. And I was just looking. And it drew me, and I couldn't take my eyes off it. And it started moving left, right, whatever. It started moving, and it stopped, and it just went like this, just went up and disappeared.
Did you film any of this stuff?
No.
And so, because that's always the first place.
I have 2 witnesses for the first 2 situations I talked about, and the last one was no film. I mean, our phones back then were like the Sony Ericsson.
Oh, so this was a long time ago. Yeah. Okay. Because that's always the first question that skeptics always have is they say, okay, well, why didn't you film it?
I did film the orbs going in a straight line, all together, and I thought they were missiles or something, and then later learned it was Starlink because I researched and it was Starlink.
Got it.
But no, I did not film anything, and I'm not trying to gain anything by saying this. We're just talking about it, right? I don't have a book. I don't have a channel talking about this shit. I never will. There's nothing if anything, it's against me. It's against my, because people go, okay, this guy's fucking crazy. I'm gonna listen to fucking this guy is fucking insane. This guy's being chemo and shit. Is probably talking shit right now, and I get it.
The first one I'm actually just a little bit curious about too, because you said that you heard a sound.
It was a weird sound though, man. It was like whales or sirens, but it wasn't earthly. The way I could describe it, it was not earthly. We thought it was the trumpets or something, and it was the end of days. That's what it sounded like. Or a big fucking spaceship that
So
just
that's the
fucking
thing.
did some shit.
The thing about sound is that it's also like you can feel sound. And so
Yes,
this
I
is kind of
felt
the
it.
question that I was kind of wondering, because if you could feel it also, right? And it just did not feel like something that was
It was we ran, dude.
yeah. I mean that says a lot for sure.
We ran, and we were big guys. And back then I was a bouncer. Okay, I was like I was bouncing clubs and shit. So it wasn't like I was a scaredy cat or anything. Like I ran like a motherfucker. I never sprinted so fast. I hate running. I never sprinted so fast in my life. I was scared
That's
shitless, man.
wild. I wanted to address one of the things you said earlier about you said you're pretty certain that God exists. Why?
Well, I said I'm pretty certain that God exists, but I'm also certain that I might be wrong.
I feel the exact same way. Why?
Why I feel God exists?
Yeah.
Or why I know that I believe him? Because it's two different things. I
Both.
can't answer the first one. I can only tell you I know I believe him. I
Mm.
believe in him. It's very
Is
simple. It's very simple why I've proven to myself that I believed him multiple times. Number one, when I was praying for my mom, and this was before she died of something else, I started fasting. So I started fasting every Wednesday and every Friday. And when she left, I kept on fasting for years. It was my thing. If I didn't believe in God, why would I continue fasting? Because a lot of times people ask you, how are you sure you believe in God? Maybe you don't believe in God. Well, my answer to that was, I kept fasting, right? So why would I be doing that? Why would I put myself through that if I didn't believe in God? The second thing was, even when I was fighting cancer, and I remember at some point I couldn't think, I couldn't stay awake. I never stopped praying. Unless I passed out mid-pray, I'd never stopped praying. So I prayed every time, and I still pray before I sleep. I pray when I walk my dog, for example. Before it used to be on, I have my certain times where I pray. But even when I was fighting cancer, I was praying, and it's why would you pray if you didn't believe? And it's not like after I got better, I stopped praying. I keep praying. I pray every day. I don't remember much. I think of all my life that I remember, I did not pray for 5 days in my life. If maybe it's more, maybe it's, I don't know, but that's something like that. I can't not pray. So if I went and I lost my mother, my sister, my father, why do I keep praying? Right? So I know I believe. If you ask me, do you believe in God? Yes. But I can't tell you if I'm correct because I'm a human being.
I think a lot of people agree with that approach, but they have a very negative opinions on like certain religions or things that were done in the name of certain religions, and so then that stops them from exploring their own curiosity with it.
Because they look at the crazies. Like on the news, you hear about the crazies. You don't hear about the people that are whatever religion they are, the actual people. Like I'm a Christian Orthodox. I'm Greek Orthodox, right? I mean, you see me talking. I think I bring some good points. I'm a cool person to talk to. I might be able to talk about different subjects without bringing religion in every single thing. But let me give you an example. You hear the news about pit bulls. Pitbull's killed this guy. Pitbull ate kid. Pitbull did this. Pitbull did that. You never hear Pitbull went and licked kid's face because it's not newsworthy. So you only hear about the crazies. So now everybody has negative opinions on pit bulls. I have a pit bull. He loves kids. He loves kittens. He plays with cats. Right? He doesn't attack anyone. If you come into my house and I'm not here, maybe because he's trained, but that's a different story. But he loves people, and he's a cutie, and he's the best dog you could have. But everybody hates pit bulls, and they go, "Oh, it's a pit bull." Oh yeah, of course it's a pit bull. First of all, most of them out there are not even pit bulls; they just call them pit bulls because people don't know how to differentiate things. There's 5 different types of pit bulls, by the way, and it's usually like a bastard breed and not trained. But regardless, you only hear the bad shit. You never hear the good shit. So when it comes to religion, the same thing. You only hear the bad shit. What's going on with immigrants? This, that. That's all you hear. You don't hear the good things. You don't hear the Muslim praise for person's health or for Christians' health. It's not newsworthy. You're gonna hear Muslim blows up everyone to bits.
Yeah, you're right.
It's just the way it is.
The good news doesn't make anyone else money.
Exactly. Or spreads. The best way to spread news is the negative news. It's the fastest news that spreads.
Incredibly true. And I've been around pit bulls quite a bit to touch on that point. And like if they're even remotely trained, they're some of the most kind dogs that exist. Obviously, they do have things, and some pretty horrible people have made them do things, right? And of course, that's there, and I understand where people are coming from. I understand why they're scared to a degree, but I think a lot of that's coming from a place of ignorance.
Chihuahua is a much more aggressive dog than
Chihuahuas, like anyone out there who likes them, like I do your thing, but I do not like Chihuahuas, man. Like those things are the most annoying little things. My neighbor, who's like one of the sweetest people ever, she's so sweet, and she's got 2 of them, and she's awesome. But those little yappers, man, I'm like, you purchased those things? That's crazy.
I love all animals, and
I do
love
too.
people,
I do
by the way,
too.
so
Absolutely. But I'm like, you have the
yeah, but
choice.
I get what you're saying. Man. I
Yeah.
get what you're saying.
One thing I wanted to tap on with that is just some of the science behind what you guys have been talking about here is some stuff that was done by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky, Nobel Prize winning psychologists who pretty much created the term behavioral economics. Essentially, they created that kind of space. And the availability heuristics are the psychological term that you can use to say our brains actually immediately tap into the things that are negative, right? Like it's just part of our wiring. Negative things, and there's also this concept of called the availability cascade. And so what happens is like you said, Paul, like you see it on the news, and because you see it on the news, what happens is people will then start talking about that thing, and then that thing now is reinforced as a norm, even though in reality, like it really was never a norm. But the spreading of the message, right, creates the norm out of that, and then you get reactions to those norms. There was like this experiment that was done where essentially there was like a story about pesticides being on apples, and what happened was like they took the pesticides off of the apples because it led to a couple of deaths. And then because they took the pesticides off the apples, it actually led to even more deaths, right? Because of the fact that there was actually something good that was coming from the pesticides being on the apples. And this is just, it was something like this that was in the book itself. The book is called Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman. And anyways, I just wanted to kind of talk about some of that stuff too, for anyone who is curious about that.
Yeah, so I got to touch this before I give you guys back the mic. So Jay Huron, who's a consistent viewer and awesome person, said, my Chihuahua is 20 years old next week.
That's the good thing about Chihuahuas. They live a long time.
They live forever, yeah. So maybe I'm sold on why they're awesome. So happy early birthday to your Chihuahua. And just to be clarified, I love all animals. I was just saying, I struggle to grasp how when you can choose your pick of the litter, you choose the Chihuahua, but makes sense. Makes sense.
I mean, my girlfriend wanted a small dog, and I'm like, look, if I'm going to get a dog, I'm going to get a dog that actually can protect me and do something, not me worrying about him all the time, right? He needs to be able to, hold his own there. You know what I mean? I don't want fucking burglars laughing at him.
And they also yap a lot. Like the ones that I'm referring to.
Yeah, they do.
They yap all the time. And they do bite too. Like, so we had a dog that passed away, and he was a big dog. And sometimes he would freak out if he got scared and like nip, but he never actually bit anyone. But people were terrified of him. And then there's dogs right beside us that are literally biting me all the time, and no one cares because they're small. So I agree with your point.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. When the pit bull gets pissed off, it's more scary, of course.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Keith, did you have any other questions that you wanted to go down?
I wanted to see if we could dive into some of the news with you, Paul. We got some
that'd be
funny
fun.
news stories.
Oh God. Okay.
We did the
I have a very strong opinion about news, by the way, when it comes to crypto, when it comes to analysis and so on.
What is your opinion?
There's news for the masses and there's news for the classes. We only get the news for the masses, so I don't trade off news. I don't give a shit about news. I don't look at news. I look at TA, and usually the only chance you have is through TA, even though it's slim, to actually get the news before anybody else.
I agree.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
I completely agree with that.
Let's see. Jay Huron said, Jay Huron said, innate instincts. Some argue that humans have an innate moral sense or instincts. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that, but I think a lot of what we're fighting is people convincing us that things are normal that are not within ourselves, within day-to-day life. And if you get told something enough from enough people, from enough things that you love and trust that don't even realize that they're messengers for other people, then it becomes pretty powerful.
Yes.
I actually had this almost exact conversation with someone 2 days ago because we were talking about sapiens. We all know Harari. I was bringing that up in the conversation, and the thought that I had was is is morality natural? Is that the natural state of humanity or not? Because there obviously was a time where there was no morality, right? Or
How
we
do you
were
know?
primitive
True.
versions.
How do you know?
Let's
That's
imagine
true.
How do you know?
let's imagine there were the the pre-Homo sapien, right? You had forget exactly what you called them, and I don't know this, right? And this is once again from the book, looking at what they've described as history. Um, do animals have a moral code, Paul?
Well, they only attack what they eat, don't they? I saw like lions hanging out with giraffes and shit, and well, not giraffes, but like small animals not doing anything, and then they only chase and eat them when they're hungry. So probably. And some might be naturally more aggressive because of whatever reason, because of their habitat and the way they grew. But I mean, yeah, you can argue that they have morality.
Like honey badgers, man. Honey badgers don't give no
Not
shit.
sure if they know the difference. They're not sure if they have the same. I'm missing a word here. Same something as us, but definitely some of them do.
Like that.
Cool. Well, that was what the conversation was. Is at what point did humans become like just animals? And this is what the book kind of goes through: is the revolution. This is
Assuming you believe
evolutionary
in
science,
Darwinism,
right?
assuming you believe and agree with Darwinism, that
Right.
Darwinism,
Exactly.
right?
Mm.
So
Exactly.
I personally have some theories on that, and I do believe in evolution to an extent, and I do believe that we evolve, but at the same time, I think there's a missing link, and you can combine religion uh, with the first man, because there's I don't want to go make this a religion thing, but I remember well, remember when Adam was cast out of Eden with Eve, he said they will kill me out there, and then God did something so he can protect him and so on. Who was going to kill him out there? Those are the humans or human-like. So there could be been a version of humans or pre-humans that, and I think there was one that we actually killed off. So, and you can go down rabbit holes here. You can go to the Anunnaki and all
That's
that.
where I was
stuff.
I was waiting to say that the whole time.
So,
My tongue.
and yeah, but like I don't believe that. I don't subscribe to that either.
Mhm.
But I do think that usually the truth is somewhere
Somewhere
that
in the
relates
middle.
to everything. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
so for example, the 12 god of Olympus, if you want to go down that route, and they were actually angels that were supposed to protect their people that were put in charge, and then they fell as well and became demons. And that's why, and so it's kind of like it's all interlinked. It's kind of weird. Um, so yeah, it's a long discussion. If I had my friend here, we would probably start, but I don't know if people will like this, or it gets a bit deep, and it gets a bit, people might disagree, might agree. It's another podcast, man. It really is. And you don't really want to get religion when you talk about crypto
Yeah,
that
yeah,
much.
yeah.
And it just
I
gets,
agree.
because then someone says, oh, he's always talking about religion, or
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and then whatever they have a strong opinion on against, then it'll discredit anything else that was said in the conversation, even if it was
exactly.
valid
So
and like
it's very, yeah, it's
objectively
better
true.
to.
Keith, you want to get into the news then?
Just in, $12 trillion Charles Schwab says it will offer Bitcoin and Ethereum trading in early 2026.
Wow. So we actually missed a question earlier, Keith, that kind of makes sense here, where people were trying to ask, where is it? I want to find it. But the core question was, if Bitcoin is gold, what is Ethereum? Is it silver? Is the question they asked. I'm trying to find it to put on the screen. But how would you guys answer what Ethereum is in the grand scheme?
It's not silver. It's a platform for building decentralized apps. It doesn't have the properties of silver. It doesn't have. It just doesn't. And silver doesn't have the properties of gold either.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very different. So you can't. Even if it was, it's irrelevant.
So,
Gold
Yeah.
there's no. The people that sit around saying that silver is the same as gold because you can't use a gold coin to buy something. You need the silver coins, and that should. It's so bullshit. It's so stupid. I mean, it's not the amount of silver. It's like the reason that gold works, and it works in a spirit, is you have the price of gold, it goes up. When the price goes up, it makes sense to mine it because mining is expensive. So you mine gold, and there's more gold, and it corrects, and it just keeps on doing this over and over again. So as the price goes up on gold, it makes more sense to drill it and mine it or whatever. So, right, and that's the mechanism that Bitcoin kind of took with mining, with its algorithm. The only difference is it's 21 million capped. Regardless, it just gets more difficult and over time. That's what it's based on. But the problem with silver is, as soon as it gets a bit expensive, it's very, very easy to mine, and there's more of it, and that's why it won't perform as gold. And for people, and since we're talking about this, since we're talking again about sound hard money, a lot of people say, well, you can't spend Bitcoin to buy fucking chewing gum. That's just so moronic because you don't have to. Just like in the past, the dollar was bounded to gold, right? It was backed by gold. You had gold in a bank somewhere safe, and you had notes that corresponded to that gold. You don't have to walk around and spend your Bitcoin. You can have Lightning Network and spend that Bitcoin. You know what I mean? It's okay. Let's go back. This is interesting. Let me go back a little bit further. Back in the day, they used to use seashells for currency. All right, actual seashells. And a lot of people hear it. Oh, what morons! What is this? No, it worked for over 1,000 years. And the reason it worked very, very well, there were rare seashells that they couldn't get in their village because they were either far away from the ocean or they were very hard to get. So they effectively worked as currency. Now, as technology advanced and it was more easy to get these seashells, the value wasn't the same. It's the same with rocks. Like you'd have a big rock in the middle of the village, and then you have small rocks, rare rocks representing that big rock. But when these tribes got, the seashell tribes and the rock tribes, they got founded by travelers and so on, that were more advanced, they wanted to trade with them. And they realized they want rocks or seashells, whatever. It's very easy for them to bring it in because of their attack. They wanted to trade. So they just flooded the place and they traded. But then that's why that didn't work and it lost value. And the same thing's happening with the dollar. The same thing's happening with currency. And that's why Bitcoin and gold works. So it's you have to kind of know this to understand this, and to understand the value of Bitcoin. I just went back now a little bit to that subject as before, and that's why I think everybody should read the Bitcoin Standard, because it will teach you how money works, how money was invented, and it will teach you how gold works, and how Bitcoin is the progression of this, or the future of this, so to speak.
Fantastic. Another question in the chat, responding also to the news. Chad said, what is causing the shift from major trading institutions to allow crypto? Why now? What do you think about that, Paul?
I mean, come on, that's easy. Greed. If you want to, I talked about earlier, everything is a greed and fear. But if you want to get a little bit more specific, there's Trump, there's the governments, and so on. I mean, they're moving the needles faster. BlackRock, Vanguard. Of course, they're going to start doing it.
It was always going to be nibbles until it was the whole pie.
Exactly.
Right? Like that's how it was always going to happen. And that's what we were all saying when everyone was saying that these crypto bros are so crazy. It's like, because they didn't understand that that's how it will go. Right? It'll be like this until it's this.
Legal tender happened in a country, El Salvador. Everyone was like, oh, it's a shit country. Not anymore.
Exactly.
I wanna go into a little bit of one of the responses. Eric Balcahunas, who's awesome. He's a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg. He covers all the ETFs and that stuff around it. He said, we knew this was coming. The big question, though, is what is the fee? Schwab has free ETF and stock trading. If crypto also free, then look out. Ticker coin. Coinbase. Heck, anything under 50 basis points is a big threat to crypto exchanges, in my opinion. On flip, ETFs are already free to trade, and have 1 to 2 basis points spread, so pretty much impossible to beat the deal even for Schwab. Although ETFs come with the expense ratio, owning direct does not. So I thought that was a really good addition to the conversation, looking at what the dynamic is going to be when these institutions get into crypto, if they're able to basically take the if they raise, or excuse me, they lower, right, like the race to zero in terms of crypto trading, what does that mean for the traditional exchanges? And what does that even mean for potentially like decentralized finance? Because I think that could also be impacted by some of
Why?
these brokerages bringing fees down.
If you have an ETF, can you spend Bitcoin as money?
No.
If you have an ETF, do you have freedom to do with it what you want, or is it's okay?
Until it's tokenized.
Okay,
Until
fine.
everything is tokenized.
There is gold ETFs, and I still have physical gold, and so do you, and so does everyone here. And it's a whole different, and it's a different advantages and disadvantages to it. What's the issue here? Like, it's the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, you made an interesting point there, and then so then what does happen when all equities are tokenized then? Because at that point, then I might be able to spend it in different kinds of ways to either buy other assets or even potentially, in your typical currencies. Eventually, what I'm imagining in the world, and this could be totally wrong, is that you end up having like global liquidity for anything, right? Like one global liquidity network where you can trade anything for anything because everything is tokenized.
Oh yeah, that was the whole NFT movement back in the day, or the idea of it. Now it's starting to happen through currency. Well, I still don't like calling them currencies. Through crypto, right? But the use, like, if you so let's take AI as an example here, real quick, okay? Because you have AI agents that can act autonomously and do things and deal with each other autonomously. And we all saw the Luna story where Luna found another AI agent to be able to design a graphic for her and paid her in crypto, and it happened autonomously on its own. They had basically an AI agent running as an influencer on Twitter, and this thing just worked on its own and worked with another agent, right? This is only possible with cryptocurrency, not with ETFs. Because what you're going to do, plug in a fucking PayPal AP, it's not going to work. Cryptocurrency and the AI go together. So this is what I'm saying. Yes, okay, ETFs, this, that, and yes, things are going to change, but there's still going to be use cases. There's still going to be reasons. Not everything will be there. And also, again, right now, I don't know if that matters in the sense that, again, it's very hard to predict. You made a good point, though, Keith. You made a very, very good point there earlier on. It's something I haven't really thought about.
On the tokenization of things, you mean?
Because yeah, I thought about tokenization things, but I haven't thought about it to the extent that we're talking about now.
I wanted to pull up another thing. We've been talking about gold and silver a little bit. This was a really funny demonstration that I saw an hour or so ago. This is CZ, the founder of Binance, and Peter Schiff.
Has some, I think it's Kyrgyz language. I took it back from Kyrgyzstan. He has a certificate. I got this from a very important person from Kyrgyzstan. Very recently, just completely by luck. So we take it out. It's pretty heavy. I'll put this down. You see, like it says, Kyrgyzstan, 1,000 grams, fine gold, 99.9.9, and a serial number. Try it.
Yes. Yeah, it's heavy.
Is it real gold or no?
Well, I don't know. I mean, is this what you're trying to? I mean,
so the point of that demonstration was to get that point out of like, just because you have gold in your hand and it says all this on it, does that mean that is real gold, right? Crypto, he says, or Bitcoin specifically, he thinks solves that problem. Wanted to share that with everybody.
Peter Schiff has some specific. It's not Peter Schiff's fault. I think everyone's trying to debate him too technically in the wrong things. So the whole gold and Bitcoin thing, everyone's trying to say why Bitcoin is better than gold, or why Bitcoin works, and no one tries to wonder why it can't just be something else parallel to gold. Because obviously gold has certain qualities that Bitcoin does not. I mean, as much as I love Bitcoin, walking around with a ledger on my neck is not the same thing as walking around with a gold chain, and I get that. Um, and there's a massive place for gold, but I don't think it's the same thing. They just share certain principles. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean it's the same thing though.
Yeah.
There's different, like there's different things that can share the same principles and be very different.
Yeah, I think people get carried away with the initial marketing message that was needed to reach people, and then people start taking things far too literally.
Exactly. Like a lot of times you hear these people, the survivalists, that say you need gold and stuff, and Bitcoin if it's going to be apocalypse, whatever, and it's going to be the best currency. Because people saying silver is going to be the best currency, people saying gold is going to be the best currency, people saying Bitcoin is going to be the best currency, and I'm saying none of them will. The best currency will be pharmaceuticals, because if you have a kid dying of a fever, your aspirin or your paracetamol suddenly becomes a currency much more powerful, or your antibiotics, than anything else out there.
So you think medicine will become the means of exchange?
One of the biggest ones, yes. I mean, anyone who has medicine has the upper hand. Think about it. And guns. Yes, gold is great. Yes, Bitcoin's great and all that. But think about it. What would you rather have? What if you get sick?
Yeah, if you don't have health, you have literally nothing.
And what are you gonna do? Buy a gold bar for? Where are you gonna find the medicine?
That's
Medicine will
true.
become currency in an extreme fucking crazy
Health, yeah.
Mad Max sort of situation, until everything picks up and they make some sort of Bitcoin, whatever. Shit's good. People, I'd give like money to save someone for to get I'd accept pharmaceuticals to save someone I love and do something. It's good. Of course, it's going to be part barter system. But why is gold the best barter system? I mean, aspirins might be a lot better.
Mm. No, that makes
Love
sense.
it.
Yeah, from Logic's point of view, it makes sense to me. Did you have another news story, Keith?
Yeah, just a couple quick things. BlackRock CEO Larry Fink said that sovereign wealth funds are buying Bitcoin. Real quick from the Deal Book Summit as well.
But I can tell you there are a number of sovereign funds that are standing by. They're adding incrementally at 120, at 100. I know they bought more in the 80s.
Right.
That's fine. And they're establishing a longer position. And you own it over years. This is not a trade. You own it for a purpose. But I can.
Any immediate thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that they're saying things that, like, that's not too interesting to me, to be honest. Like, that's kind of like a no duh. But I think that who it's coming from is what makes it significant.
For sure. I mean, it's just a matter of, yeah. I mean, he's saying it. He's saying that these sovereign wealth funds also are actually buying Bitcoin, and that's something that we can't verify without
True.
hearing it from him.
Mhm.
So the other news story that I had, in case Paul you don't have anything on that one, was something really just that the Office of Nuclear Energy in the U.S. Tweeted. They said that the United States needs to deploy advanced reactors, and we need to do it fast. This was something that came out just a bit ago, I think a day ago now. Hold on, I thought this was kind of funny. So yeah, so people are saying, did you just wake up from a 50-year nap? We needed this fast 40 years ago. Who's going to build their turbines for nuclear energy? Who's going to make the turbines? I'm personally not an expert in any of that stuff, but I think I was listening to Joe Lonsdale at the beginning of this year, I think it was, co-founder of Palantir and many others. And he talked about how important it would be for the United States to actually go ahead and get on the path to nuclear energy, as China is like 40 times ahead on us in that regard, of the development of nuclear facilities in the AI race. This being super important for having the foundations needed for us to have the capacity for building out AI the way that China might be able to. So I just wanted to bring that stuff up. We talk a little bit about AI around here. And the US is just now starting to at least vocalize that they're actually taking this stuff seriously. We also had a week ago the announcement of the project. I kind of forgot what it was called. But do you remember what it was called?
Was it? I know this. It's something mission, right? It's on our clips channel. Let me see. I can probably find it. The Genesis mission, I think it is off the top of
I think
head.
that's right.
But also, if you're watching the recording after this and you guys have recommendations for guests that are experts in this kind of field in terms of energy and AI people, definitely let us know who you'd like us to see, and we'll try to go after them. But I think it was the Genesis mission. Let me confirm here. Cool.
So other than that, there's one other funny little thing. It wasn't necessarily directly related to anything, just a little bit of internet culture, because we had anyone who has Spotify at the moment has been seeing their Spotify Wrapped. And Troy Ozanoff said, Spotify Wrapped is the most successful marketing tactic of the last 10 years, built on one simple idea. People are obsessed with themselves.
Troy's a friend of mine. Let's get him on the show.
Oh, that's it. Well, there we go.
Troy's an incredibly successful dude, a marketing genius. Like he's an actual OG that no one really knows for whatever reason. Like people don't understand how big of a deal this guy is. And he's also was super early on Bitcoin and crypto too. So he'd be a fun guest to have as well. But I totally agree with that. From a marketing standpoint, if you can allow people to be sneezers by sharing something about themselves, they will, right? It goes crazy.
Yeah. So that's it for me, guys. That's all my news. We can maybe
Paul, do you have
open
any
it up to
news
the chat.
topics that you want to bring up?
Well, we ask the audience what they want to talk about.
Yeah.
Do they want to look at the price? Do they want to look at some charts? Do they want to? What do they want to do?
That'd be fun. Actually,
are we in a bear market? We're not, by the way, in the bear market. But like we, let's ask what they want. How many people are watching right now?
We've got 25 here live.
All right, cool. 25.
So if y'all have any questions specifically for Paul, please let us know. But I personally, because I'm not a huge charts guy, I'm more a reader of the people because I think people move the charts. And so I study more macros.
That's what charts do, though.
Pardon?
They read people. Charts basically psychology.
Yeah, probably. I think we're both doing the same thing from different viewpoints.
Yeah.
Silver price, Jay Heron said.
What
silver
about it?
Price?
Prediction or like, yeah, what do you mean?
The TA.
Oh, on silver.
Keith, you want to start it off? You're a silver guy.
I'll pull it up. I'm not too much of a silver guy. but I will pull it up real quick. So we've got it on a massive run here. This was another question I wanted to ask you, Paul. What are your thoughts on like liquidity-based trading?
I don't do it. I just look at the charts the way I know them. I try not to confuse myself with all this. It was at some point it was like on chain, this, that. It just gets confusing. I just dumb it down and just do what I do, and the charts that I use, and that's it.
So you're not a massive
an M2 guy, no, or anything like that, no. Because there's a lot. Because there's a lot of times, or FOMC me and all this and rate cuts. I don't care. Because I think they work only when you see it, and people usually look at the charts. People usually see the movement of price and then look for the news that drives it. Oh, it's because of this. Oh, it's because of that. For example, everyone was saying, "Oh, M2 is going up. We're going to go up forever." Well, we didn't. We had a really bad year. Then they were saying, "Oh, the rate cuts, forgetting that there have been many times that we have had rate cuts and prices fallen like fucking crazy, both in the stock market and in crypto. So it's working right now. It's in trend. So I'll give you a few examples. Okay, .com bubble. They were cutting rates like crazy. Prices, the markets crashed. Right. Then we had 2008, 2009. They were cutting rates like crazy. Markets crashed. Then you had COVID. They were cutting rates like crazy. Markets crashed. It doesn't matter. Just look at the charts and keep things simple. Go by trend, and that's it. I don't look at all this stuff. If anything, it just becomes volatile for a while and then just picks up and continues to trend on the side of the trend.
Have you ever heard of the Inner Circle Trader or ICT or SMC concepts or any of that kind of stuff?
Nope.
Okay. Well, when I said liquidity-based trading, and we can move on immediately, I was also talking about like the idea that there are specific places in the market where traders have orders placed, and markets.
Losses.
Exactly.
Of course. And exchanges do drop things to your stop loss. This is of course. And this is why you have to use your stop loss in crypto very differently than what everyone else does. And I actually talk about that. I don't want to pun my course. I talk about that.
Cool, man.
But again, it's So I'll give you some value for some traders here real quick. If you have, and I think we've all seen these videos that it says, well, okay, if you're going to buy this price and you're going to put your stop loss here, put your buy order at this price, right? And then shows that the price actually goes there. And I think that's semi-true. The thing is, exchanges do stop loss hunt. I know this 100%. Right? I used to be a marketing director of an exchange. I'm not saying that the exchange did that. I'm just saying I know how exchanges operate. And I know what scam wicks are and everything like that. And also we know that whales can play games and knock down the price. And this usually happens over the weekend, which is why you should be very careful on weekends and so on in crypto. But without over explaining things, if you have a buy order here, let's say you have a perfect place to buy an order, right? And you want to put $1,000 in right here at, let's say $100, right? The price. And your stop loss is at 70. Change it around, put 50 here and 50 here. Put half and half. That way, and you can even do a 2x leverage and stuff like that to with another stop loss under that and so on. And then what happens is if they stop loss hunting you, chances are you're putting your stop loss where everyone else is putting it anyway, but you're also using that as a buy order. So if you're right and you got into the right trade, fine, this won't hit, your buy order here won't hit, but you still got this order over here. But if they stop loss hunt, then you also make the buy order down here. So you're basically taking two trades instead of one. Does that make sense? And it's kind of just a little trick you could use moving forward with your trades. Of course, there's more to it than that, but I'm trying to give the basic gist of things.
Love it. One thing that keeps coming up generally that I from the chat that I think is worth addressing. What are your thoughts on the whole Ripple and XRP thing?
What do you
Where
mean?
you stand on it?
So, okay, be more specific because there's a lot of things in the Ripple XRP thing.
Well, do you believe that what Ripple, the company, is trying to accomplish has anything to do with the XRP asset?
No,
and do you think that any of that is feasible?
But they've pivoted many times already. Now they're trying to do RWA, right? So, and I was saying this, everyone was really attacking me, the XRP. I'm probably on the top most wanted XRP because I've made like hundreds of videos literally talking about XRP on my channel and telling them that it's all bullshit. Because most of the shit you hear, here's the problem. You have lying influencers, like in Ripple, but you also have idiot influencers that sound smart. And the idiot ones are the most dangerous ones because they just parrot what they hear. So in the last bull market, and even the beginning of this one, I was hearing ISO 20022, it's going to be the new thing, and it's going to take over Swift, and so much money on, and people just can't fucking research and see it's just Swift is just a messaging service. There's no settlement on it. And ISO 20022 is just an upgrade that you have more messages within one message so things can go out faster. Any cryptocurrency can pretty much apply and get that standard. It's not that crazy. But no, it's a Swift and this and that. And now, and even the other day, I saw like influencers, oh, now it's all ISO 20022, goodbye Swift, haha. The fuck are you talking about, dude? It's still Swift. It's just a different upgrade. It's just an upgrade, a different thing they're using, a messaging service. Anyway, regardless, put that to the side. Then you hear about, oh, Ripple is working with banks, proof of concept. Yes. Do you know what a proof of concept is? That's when a company pays the bank to proof of concept to test their asset. And yes, there's a place in marketing and why they do that, but it's nothing crazy, right? And then basically, and I was saying back then that, everything's probably going to run on Ethereum or Chainlink or something, and that's when I really got attacked. It's like, the use case doesn't make sense. Then they're like, oh no, it's the best payment system in the world because it's fast, is this, is that. I'm like, okay. They're like, okay, so let's say that XRP becomes money like Bitcoin, and let's say you want to send XRP to the Russian government or to the truck drivers in Canada when they were doing the protests. You remember that?
Oh, I do.
Don't you think that they can stop that transaction?
Yeah, you'd think so.
They can't stop Bitcoin, though. They might know you were doing it, but they can't stop it. That's the difference. So, no, I don't believe the concept for XRP the way they were going. I do believe Ripple is a very strong company. I would buy their IPO, don't get me wrong, if I had a stock.
So this
But I
actually also
don't
leads
think
into
XRP is the thing. I don't think it's made out to what they think. I think it's very good marketing. A lot of scammers talking about it. I'm not saying it's useless. I'm not saying it's not a good. Again, I bought it at 72 cents and sold it $3 again. I'm just saying that it's not what it's cut out to be.
Go ahead,
love
Keith.
it. And then it actually does tie into another comment that I saw a lot earlier. Someone said, what do you think about tokenizing Bitcoin on the XRP ledger? And so let me preface this real quick, because the theory of a lot of the XRP types of thinkers and people, or at least what would make their argument make sense, is having a system, right? Because right now, right, the financial system is not necessarily internet native. It's banking native. It has to do with the banks, right? The banks have their own centralized data service, and that's where all of the money is flowing through. Now, if you recreate that system to look a little bit more decentralized or distributed, is the word that I like to use, and you do actually tokenize everything, including traditional stocks and traditional money and everything, and then you could potentially even tokenize crypto and put it on these types of platforms instead. And now, if you had to tokenize Bitcoin on the XRP ledger, well, I'm sure a lot of people said, well, then now the Bitcoin has no value. But then in that situation, if you tokenize the Bitcoin onto a different system, then you would actually be able to control what happens next, because now we've built something that's on top of it. And now I can actually control whether or not you're able to move that Bitcoin from one wallet to another, because the Bitcoin itself can move on that network without me being able to actually use that value in the real world, in the systems in which we've built the rest of the economy on top
It
of.
would take away the decentralization of Bitcoin.
100%.
There won't be Bitcoin. You can't do it. So, look, XRP has some cool tech. They just need. Why do you think they're pivoting to other use cases? It didn't work, right? When they want control. The only, and believe me, XRP is centralized. First of all, there's 100 billion tokens. Like Ripple has what, almost half of that. You don't need half to have control. You need about 10-20%, by the way. Now, that's the majority that you're going to have against the rest of the world, and it's still centralized. You still have voting rights and so on. I mean,
how much does Satoshi have of Bitcoin?
Oh God,
No.
Whatever the number is, man, but a couple billion.
So he has 5.5 of the supply.
Yeah, but that's okay. But let me ask you something. Bitcoin has sound hard money principles.
Mm-hmm.
So there's billionaires in the world that have a lot of the supply of cash as well. Doesn't mean they control it all. I can still use cash. Very different things. Let's not compare apples to oranges here.
I'm just trying to play the voice of someone who would hear this and be like, hey, right? Like, this is what they would.
So it's not about, Bitcoin is not so much about who has the most, because it's the same with money. Some people just have the most, right? It's about the nodes, the 16,000 nodes, the ones that are actually open nodes that we see around the world, and the other, I don't know, how many, 7,000 hidden nodes? That's decentralization.
That's decentralization, totally.
And
I just think that the levels of education for why people started this thing in the first place, we've definitely lost the plot quite a bit. And I think our job as crypto educators or creators is really to talk about the things that we're talking about, right? Like, why did we start this in the first place?
Okay. The equivalent, let me put it very simple for everyone to understand here. Okay, just very simple in a nutshell. The equivalent of proof of stake to proof of work, which everyone suddenly says is fucking bad, is the equivalent of gold and the dollar coming off of gold. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everyone right now?
Can you elaborate on the...
Because the proof of stake, the equivalent, I don't want to get into too much technicals here. I'm sure Keith can help me out. He's smiling. He knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you take dollars, the dollar used to be based on gold, the gold standard. And Nixon took it off of the gold standard, and then they had the Federal Reserve, and they could print as much as you want. That's the equivalent of proof of stake nowadays. There's very few proof of work concepts. There's Bitcoin's one of them that works. And then everything proof of stake is pretty much centralized or controlled. I'm not saying it's bad. It's very good for doing utilities, for doing apps, this, that, for making. You can do shit on there that you just cannot do on Bitcoin. I'm with you with that. And decentralized finance in this case requires a certain amount of centralization. I also get that, but you cannot compare the two.
Mm-hmm.
Cardano sounds like a decent option, to be honest. The more that I hear all of this.
So of all of the proof of stake mechanisms, Cardano by far has the strongest that I've ever looked at personally, of trying to mitigate decentralization through the concentration of the rewards mechanisms.
Yeah, yes. Thank you for bringing that up, Paul. So so if you go look at the roadmap of Ethereum on their recent announcements, they're basically saying stuff that Cardano was doing and built years ago. And so I really think there's a narrative problem that Cardano is facing right now, but I do think it's going to be remedied because how they set everything up to deliberately be decentralized comes with growing pains. And it also comes with people balancing their own egos and trying to build something that they all think is saving the world, right? And then there's all different reasons for why you save the world. That depends on vantage point. And so it seems like the entities that were kind of the founding entities are kind of coming together now and trying to right the ship in terms of general narrative of what's actually been built there. And I'm pretty excited for that to start happening.
It's still not hard money.
No.
Hard sound money principles.
Yes, I get what you're saying.
And a lot of people, this is also decentralized, but it's much cheaper. It doesn't work. Right? It's kind of like you have to it will take many years for something to get as decentralized as Bitcoin, and even then, Bitcoin will be even more decentralized. So that's the issue here.
Totally get it. Yeah, no, I appreciate you being open and honest with your opinions. I think the whole point we have conversations like this is because if you just go to places that say the same thing you already believe, then you're just jerking yourself off intellectually. Like how are you growing if you're hearing the same opinion you have all the time? That's the trap that most people fall into, right? Is they do find a little bit of discovery. They go find whoever has the point that they agree with or who gave it to them in the first place. And then they keep going back to feel smart. They keep going back again and again and again and again and again. You should be challenging your own opinions and beliefs all the time because it becomes really, really dangerous when you don't, especially because what you talked about before, the whole media incentive structure, where once somebody adopts that opinion, if they change that opinion, they typically lose viewership because everybody who is there is equally bought in. So they only click the stuff to jerk off intellectually. Right. So you got to think about the incentive structure here and think about yourself. And if someone doesn't agree with you, that's actually probably a good thing. We can only both grow that way.
What other questions does the audience have they want to talk about here?
So I'm curious about the thoughts on NFTs. Yeah, this is probably a good conversation piece. So to be transparent, I believe in the technology of NFTs quite a bit. It's that I saw the natural jerk reaction when the NFT word was said out loud. Can you provide your 2 cents?
The pain. All right, okay, I'll tell you my experience with NFTs. So when I first started in crypto, one of the companies I was working for was Mintable. So I was very close to be one of the first people in NFTs. I made the course for Mintable and so on. So I was very into NFTs. I made my own NFTs. I experimented with them and so on. Back in the day, they used to be called deeds, by the way. If you listen to Andreas Antonopoulos, and he was talking about deeds, and your key could be an NFT to your car and so on. But regardless, they were renamed NFTs. And essentially, my pain point on them was I was never a good NFT trader, just like I was never good with art. And I'm so pissed off at them because I lost a lot of money in NFTs because I was about to buy some Bored Apes, and my friend fucking convinced me to buy some bulls and bears. Marcin, he has a YouTube channel. Go fucking say the Crypto Factor is holding this against you still to this day. We still talk, by the way, but go comment on one of his videos. Be like, dude, you fucked up. Because he made me buy fucking bulls and bears and get the fucking equivalent of bear to the bull and so on because they're brothers and they go together and all this shit. And I didn't buy my Bored Apes. So I'm really pissed off at that. So I just left. I learned very quickly that I wasn't very good at trading NFTs because I was buying the wrong ones. There was no technical analysis on them.
Yes, it's purely people. It's purely people, which is why I love that market.
Okay, so for me, I'm shit at it. So when people ask me about NFTs on my channel, look, I can tell you what I know. I've worked with NFTs, but I'm probably going to give you wrong advice when it comes to making money from NFTs because I didn't make money from NFTs, and there's no TA. It's not me.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I think it's important to understand how you are and also go where places that like most people don't want to be. Like I'm happy to play in NFT land. I've made my most money with NFTs when everyone's been roasting it. Like
Wow.
I got into what is, I don't even know what it's called. This shows you I'm a bad NFT person. But when they airdrop it or when they first mint it, basically, I found some projects that I minted from the launch and they've gone up like a 10x, 12x
Wow.
this
I
year,
was about
bro.
to buy Pudgy Penguins as well, and I
I bought a
didn't.
Pudgy.
So I did not, but I did buy the coin, and I called it early. So
Yeah, Pengu is still a very this is
it's
not
probably
financial
good.
advice. Buy whatever you want, but that's something I would look into, is how I would say it. But NFTs, I believe in the technology a lot. Maybe we need to rebrand them back to deeds or whatever you had said. I didn't know that that's what they were called before, because I think now we're fighting the stigma of the brands and the associations that people have with
Yeah.
them now, which is really the problem. And so whenever people think of NFT, they don't take the time to learn the underlying technology and the mechanisms that play there. They think this idiot bought a picture of a banana for $1 million. Right?
You also have ordinals, which is on the Taproot layer on Bitcoin, and you also have SRC20,
Yes.
or should I say stamps,
Mhm.
which is actually on the UTXO of Bitcoin. And you can actually, I actually got in those very, very early. I got into those before they were even traded,
Mhm.
made massive amounts of profits. And I still have a lot because I didn't sell all of them, unfortunately. But at some point, I was up like 200K. And I missed it. I didn't even look at them. I forgot all about them at some point. But I was one of the first channels to talk about how to buy them and show people how to buy them before they even went on exchanges. They didn't even exist on exchanges till not soon. Like there was like marketplaces for them.
Yeah.
I was before the marketplace. We were using the GitHub to buy them.
That's crazy. That's a lot of work. That's commitment. That's
I've
also
videos of that. I've videos
that's
of
hard
that.
to read too. But I do think they'll come back, Keith. Like another point why I think they'll come back is because I don't need the masses to think they're cool or to be wanted for them to run, right? Like I think it may become what meme coins are to the public, to the people who are already rich within crypto. Right? Like everybody chases these pumps and they chase being part of something. I just think it'll be more of an elitist way of doing it. And truthfully, I'd rather be hanging out where the money is, where they already have the money, right? It's a lot like the fine art market. So here's another question on the whole Vivi thing so Vivi was a platform that really promised the world and didn't deliver on it. I believe they're connected to the OMI token, which was seemingly from the outside, not the best thing to get involved in. They definitely sold it. They got a lot of influencers to really pump it up. I bought some. I even got my family to buy some, and that was not a good purchase whatsoever. So you definitely will get burned. Like anything, I think it's a lot like what we've all said throughout this conversation, where you're going to lose. But if you win, you have such an asymmetric opportunity in any of these verticals because such a radical shift is taking place. Like to think about the fact of how much wealth gets transferred around through the fine art market and how inevitable it is where that's going to become NFTs because it's a superior way of doing what they were trying to do in the first place. Like I am hard pressed to believe that a lot of these things don't come back, and you don't need to be here for it to do that. That's what everyone's so self-obsessed. The whole Spotify rap thing is everyone thinks they're so fucking important. Okay. If you don't have money and you can't participate in the market, it doesn't mean the market isn't there. It doesn't mean it's not lively. It doesn't mean it's not happening. It doesn't mean people are getting rich every single day. Cool. You think it's a scam. I'm all right with that. There's way less to compete with.
I'm still holding some NFTs. I hope the market goes back up with NFTs. I wish.
Which ones do you have? I'll be able to. I think I'll be able to guess if you make money or not.
I'll show you later because I don't want to go
Sure.
into my account right now live.
Yeah.
I can show you. There's nothing important. There's some stupid shit that I have.
Okay. Because there's a lot of projects that I'm in that I really think they'll come back because people didn't understand the cultural significance of what was being achieved here. The ones that have survived, right? Like most of them have gone and most of them will go to nothing. But a lot of them are actually the faces of a very big moment in time.
I think the apes and the Pudgy Penguins and stuff like that, I think they're not going to go anywhere anytime.
I agree. Yes, I think Pudgy will become crazy expensive.
I met them in some events. I go to around events all around the world and speak and cover events and stuff as well.
So on that, what have you noticed the differences in terms of different regions' approaches to crypto? Like the people, I mean, the everyday, like the person there, the culture.
The culture. Russians are in their own little world. They're like separate from everyone.
In what way? Like
I'm not being racist. I'm not being racist in any way. I'm just telling you what I see, right? So Russians are very separate. So when I went to a couple of events lately, not in Russia, but mostly Russian events, they're just a different culture altogether. Like they're mostly traders and arbitrage. I don't want to say scammers, but they're scammers. My Russian friends are gonna hate me right now, but they're very smart, but they're mostly traders and stuff like that. They're not really portfolio management, narrative, nothing like that. They're mostly traders. That's it, and arbitrage, and they just stick to their own. They're very focused on Russia. That's why events try to do outreach. Even Russian events are trying to outreach other sort of cultures. Let's put it that way. Dubai is huge, not just in crypto, but as a like in Dubai as a people, you go there, and people just talk about how to do business and how to make money. There's no soccer. What you watch the game yesterday? Did you? No one gives a fuck. Money, 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 and that's one of the reasons I love Dubai. And I'm in Dubai 3-4 times a year. I actually opened up a company there as well. So there's Dubai. In Europe, the most forward-thinking would be Poland. And they're into it, in tech and into it. Generally, the other events in Europe, the people, they don't know. It's like they're walking around lost.
And when you say forward-looking, is it the people or the government, or a little bit of both?
I think both. I think both, because I think even the government actually vetoed. Was it Poland that vetoed the strict crypto rule that was about to happen? Was it Poland or was someone else? I can't remember. Anyway, but Poland in general, they're very, very advanced when it comes to tech. Very advanced. Greece doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. And I'm Greek. I'm saying this, and we had one event, and that stopped. It was decentralized. I went there a couple of times. I actually spoke there as well. That was it. There's no more. Now we just have meetups here. People are just not into. They're into. They know about crypto. They might trade on it. They might get scanned from different platforms, and that's about it. They're not really into it. But which is stupid. I'm saying this because you have Mistin Labs, which is sweet. I take that back because we have Mistin Labs here in Greece, and the CEO is Greek, right? Of Sui. So we do have some people that are forward, but just the people are not really aware of it. To the other than it's something we can make money off. They don't understand the tech behind it, except the companies, of course, like Sui and so on. So the Sui hub and all that.
Makes sense to me.
Turkey is actually going pretty strong. Stronger than Greece, in my opinion.
That makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then Romania and all that, yeah, they're okay, but like Germany, they're okay, but like not like I haven't been to Barcelona or stuff like that, or Portugal, but Cyprus is very forward. I haven't been to Cyprus, but I know they're very forward. They're into crypto a lot as well. But Dubai is just, I mean, it's just crazy. Like, if you want to do business, go to Dubai. Like, everybody that's in business, whether you're in crypto or in business or whatever, you have to go to Dubai a couple of times a year. You just have to.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this because Andrew Tate said it. I was saying this before, right? It's just something you have to do.
I want to go see it because it does seem kind of dystopian. Like, I know it is more utopian from how people describe it, but I don't know. I don't know if I could. I don't know if I want that for a consistent way of life. But I'm speaking out of pure ignorance, so I got to go check it out and see.
Well, look, if you are coming from a country, a Western country that's kind of shit, you might like Dubai better. If you're coming from a country like Greece or Cyprus or something, or I don't know, it's a bit harder in the sense that there's a couple of things you can't do in Dubai that you can do in other countries. That is very hard for me. Now, I can live in Dubai. I have no problem. The problem is it's very hard to be a dog owner there if you have a pit bull. First of all, pit bulls are not allowed out there. Second of all, walk them where? Like, it's mostly cars from one place to another, and so it's very hard for a dog, right? And everything's air conditioned. Like, you don't really walk unless you are, especially in summer, you don't. You're in the desert, right? But I'll tell you something about Dubai. First of all, it humbles you because you have multi-billionaires just fucking talking to you like they're very polite and very good people. Second of all, you see the biggest of everything is in Dubai. You got the biggest mall in the world. You got the biggest building in the world. They decide to do another one now that's even bigger just to break their own record. You have a ski resort, a ski fucking utility in the fucking mall, which is big one. It's just you can go ski. Like, you have it's in the mall. You have the biggest vertical jump. You have they trade the biggest everything, and it's fascinating what they've built in for hell. And there is a lot to learn and do in Dubai, a lot.
I'll have to check it out.
No, I think everyone needs to go to Dubai a few times. Why do I say a few times? Because the first time you're just going to be awed. The second time you're going to say shit, and the third time you're going to be like, "Oh my god, this is like the place to do business."
Very interesting, man.
Fascinating. Well, Keith, do you have anything else? Because I know it's super late for Keith right now. It's 2 a.m. in the morning right now. Paul, what time zone are you in?
I'm in Greece right now, so it's 9:00 p.m.
Okay, so not as bad as Keith, but
And it's raining outside, so I can't walk my dog. So I'm
okay.
good.
So you're good. You're good. Well, I got nothing else, Keith. This was an awesome conversation, Paul. I appreciate you for coming in and sharing your thoughts, opinions, beliefs openly, and being vulnerable with everyone. And yeah, I really appreciate you. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, next time let's do some charts. Let's talk about bear market, not bear market. Let's talk. Let me challenge Benjamin Cowell. You know, let me do some stuff like that, man. It'll be fun.
I'm game. I'm game for it. Keith, do you have anything else?
Man. No, this is fantastic, man. I think this is by far one of the best conversations we've had. I really appreciate you coming in, adding your sauce, being you to the fullest. We need that.
No, we appreciate that tremendously. And yeah, we love having on people that also know crypto, so we can actually nerd out on it quite a bit. And so this was a ton of fun. We thank you so much. And if y'all are here or you're watching the replay, go show him some love. Go follow him. His handle or his YouTube channel is down below. Go show him some love. Go subscribe to him. Go tell him what you agree with, what you disagree with, all that good stuff.
And if you ever need hairstyling, if you ever need hairstyling tips, the channel is my channel is the place to go.
Yes, absolutely, 110%. Awesome. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, be here live. We're gonna be here live Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday for the month of December at 12 p.m. EST. So show up, show out, come and share your opinions, and we'll all try to grow together to become slightly less ignorant each day, and then hopefully we can achieve that.
Hit that like button.
Yes. And subscribe. And also last plug. Turn on the notifications for this channel because we are deliberately safeguarding the value of that notification. Social media has worn you down. It's beaten you down to be desensitized to everything. You don't want to sign up for anything. That's why people don't follow. That's why people don't subscribe. On this channel, we are giving you that power back. If you turn on notifications, you will only ever be notified of live streams. It's probably not the best for growth in the short term, but I know in terms of maintaining your sanity and trust, we know that that's very important. So we have a clips channel for all the short form garbage. And then we have this, which is always going to be secured and safe. And you can rely that this will be just live stream. So please do that.
Fantastic.
Awesome.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yep.